Welcome everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. How are you guys today? It is not very sunny outside and it's a nice calm day. I actually got some cleaning up around the house done a little bit. I got a package ready for my daughter, I had to send her. So, getting some stuff done. And it's November 27th, 2019. The 27 is the Ace of Wands. So that new passion, new creativity, birth, conception, new projects, all of that energy of that spark to go forward. The quanta. The day adds up to 50, which is a 5, which is all about the 10 of Cups, emotional fulfillment and family happiness coming into the holidays. And tomorrow for Thanksgiving is actually 51, the King of Swords, right? The man in his truth. So there may be some masculines coming out with their truth at Thanksgiving. Before I get into this, I asked for a message. I was seeing, actually I was just grounding myself, and I was seeing the masculine dancing, and then I was getting Fred Astaire, so they may be practicing dancing. There's a personal connection there. But also, I haven't gone into my inner child for a while just to see what they were doing. And so I just did that. And so the inner divine feminine was on the left side, a little bit to the left side, not all the way to the left. And she wasn't really young. She was older, and I saw her cleaning up around her room, and then I saw her folding things. And then when I asked where the masculine was, I realized she was packing, and she was yelling something to him to not forget something. So he was packing too. They were both packing on their respective sides, on the left and the right, but they were going somewhere together. So that was a really beautiful message. All right, so for the masculine today, my brother's coming in tonight around 7 p.m., who I don't get to see very much. He lives on the West Coast. My brother Jim. And let's see, where are we? No, we're at the end of November, right? The masculine read was done at 9:41 to 42. 9 is the Hermit. 41 to 42 is the Ace of Cups to the 2 of Cups. So perfect. The major arcana for this read were Solar Deity, which is the Sun, Shadow, which is the Devil, Reflection, the Hermit, and before the read we had the Star. After the read, the Wheel of Fortune came up, which is the Great Wheel in the SIRIAN Starseed deck. I'm actually going to show you the cards before I start the read today because I keep forgetting to show you the cards. So I'm going to show them all to you and then we'll get going. So the underlying energy there you see is the Queen of Orbs or Swords in the SIRIAN Starseed deck. The recent past is the Wounded Warrior, the Nine of Flames. The foundation is very covered today, so I want to pull the cards up for you so you can see. It's the Two of Orbs or the Two of Swords with the clarifications there. And the other underlying energies. The central energy is the Sun, which is upright, solar deity. The challenge being the Two of Crystals. In this deck, that card is very much about surrender. And then crowning, the other underlying energies over there. And then we have the Knight of Cups, that wave that you see with the cup. Is the Knight of Cups upright. As we scroll across the bridge here to what's coming, which is the Nine of Orbs. Okay, so that's the Nine of Swords. For me, it doesn't really matter too much whether it's upright or reversed because it's still about suffering. One is more acute and one's more chronic, but it's not in a bad sense so much today. The masculine sees himself as the Shadow, which is reversed, and the energy around him, or how he's seen as the Master of Crystals or King of Pentacles. And then the blocks he needs to clear has to do with the Nine of Chalices or Nine of Cups, which is upright. We end up here, check out the colors of the numerology deck. So you see some purples, teals, blues, so very much the throat to third eye and crown, as well as the sacral chakra, and there's a little bit of yellow there on top with parenting. So the solar plexus is coming in to play with the parenting thing. We end up there on the Hermit, which is upright. The Five of Flames is the card above that, and then the Wheel of Fortune above that, which is reversed. and then the Five of Swords above that, which is upright, and then the Ace of Pentacles, which is reversed. And then the cards end up on that Ace of Cups up top there, and then just a little sidebar here with those 4 major cards there to the side, which I'll get to as I progress in the read. All right, so let's get back to where we were. All right, so I told you the major arcana, and the suits, we had 3 swords, 1 wand, 2 cups, and 2 pentacles. So it's pretty much well distributed. A little too much swords, right? We have 3 swords. That was the most is swords today. So the masculine being very much in their head today, probably just about concerns for the holidays. And then we have the court cards in the read are the Queen of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the King of Pentacles. So a king, a queen, and a knight. Before the read, the Queen of Pentacles is also there. And then after the read, well, not after the read, but within the read, the Nine of Cups is there as well, which is often a divine masculine energy, but it's not a court card. So again, we have the Queen of Swords, Knight of Cups, King of Pentacles, and then the Queen of Pentacles before the read. The numbers came up were very specific today. We had triple 9s and 2 2s, and it was very much about the 2s today, the one-on-one relationships. And then, of course, 29 with the both of them. The code line was all about adventure and spirituality for the divine masculine, and it added up to the 4, of course, 2 and 2, and the 22 is the Fool. The 4 is the Emperor, and of course the 2 and 2, 2 different high priestesses or people with psychic abilities. And then the Emperor, or stability. The code line about adventure and spirituality was very much about the 2 of Crystals in the SIRIAN Starseed deck here, the challenge card, which is about the surrender. And the dance, right? Because the juggler, and it's not so much a juggler in this deck, but the other decks it is. But the juggler is the 8, it is the infinity, it is the dance within and together. And this is very much about the surrender to the dance with each other. So within that theme, it was all about the 2. The 2, and then the 2 amongst the mass, and getting support from others for the both of you in your dance to surrender and toggle up, and part-time, but also physical therapy, so make sure you continue to clear physical wound issues. All right, so like right now I have my shoulders been frozen over the past month or so, but it's now healing. I was trying not to use Aleve or Motrin, but I am using some now, and it actually is starting to heal. But on top of that, last night, I started to have a stone pass. So I don't know if I worked on myself and doing some healing, and I'm not in pain this morning, thank goodness, but it was for hours last night. So, and they were both on the right side. So it's about the masculine healing, but I'm getting it to the opposite for the masculine. The masculine may be affected on the left side, his feminine side. So very much about that physical healing still, toggling up, right, to use your meditation abilities and surrender to do the dance. And of course we had Fred Astaire come up and then packing to go away. So to the nth degree, say 2. 2 mints in 1. 2 amongst the mass who can then be there to support your dance. Surrender to your meditations, to toggling upward to the etheric realms, part-time, and then part-time work on your physical 3D body, okay? So the other numbers besides the ones I told you, the 22, the 999, and the 29, which is the 3 of Wands, the 22 being the Fool. We also had the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the whole first part of this cycle, but going into the second half of the cycle. And then the 12 of the Hangman, or Wisdom, 23 of the King of Wands, the Man of Passion, and 69, the Ace of Pentacles, which is the last card on the table before the clarification cards. We also had 3122, which is the 5 of Wands and the Fool. And 5 of Wands is that expansion or conflict or competition energy, being on a quest. It's really about the quest for the impossible dream with the Fool there. I went online to get some more information about this adventure and spirituality for the masculine today. And the first thing that came up was Earth Test number 2. There's a lot about 2s. And yes, the number 2, the spelled out TWO, did come up in the heading today. But the way it came up in the online headers were very synchronized to the message. So we have earth tests, so very much about Gaia, grounding as well as going up to the etheric realms. Number 2, flashcards, and that was from Quizlet. The second one was from Quizlet as well, about geology. So again, the earth and geology, to review it. Part 2. The third entry was must watch funny. So you're being called to laugh and have fun and humor, with especially with the holidays. Funny comedy videos, laughing so hard that you cry. And that was from 2018, part 2 again. And there was no part 2 in the header here. So that's just coming up as a common theme. And Binda's fun, it was YouTube, I believe. Binda's fun, and then it was ... so I don't know where that was going. Then the next entry was part 2, Jason Voorhees' theme song, Friday the 13th. So I immediately got, oh, I guess December is Friday the 13th. So I went to the calendar and looked, and it is. So that's very significant, Friday the 13th in December. And the game. And this was literally still in the same heading. Jason Voorhees' theme song, Friday the 13th, the game. So this is very significant for December, Friday the 13th. Part 2. Then the next heading was DIY epoxy dining table build. Building was coming up as significant, part 2 of 2, right? So you're building the second half, and the numbers confirm that. I told you they were 1 through 6. So it finished the first half. We're already into the second half, part 2 of how to build your relationship. The next heading was Unit 2.2, Morphology of Crystals. So again, a lot of crystal stuff was coming up here. That was YouTube, July 12th, 16. The next heading was What are the 5 Master Stones? And then the Rolling Stones were coming up for me, and that was at 10:07. So the Rolling Stones, but also just referencing the stones that roll with it, you know, going with the flow. The next heading was, do you have a problem with that? And so then that would be a wound to clear, part 2. And then it was going on to say, who wants to be ... And I'm sure it was a millionaire. That was the heading. I believe that was what it was from. But that was also from YouTube, September 14th, 2009, and the lights were flickering. Do you have a problem with that? Part 2. Who wants to be? To just be. Doesn't have to be anything. It's just you to be. The next heading was crystal definition, examples, and common types of crystals. So something that came up in the header were just sugar and iron crystals, molecular crystals, and it stated the entire molecules are bonded. And when I went to write bonded, it wrote boned, so it was kind of funny. The entire molecules are bonded to each other in an organized manner. So it's talking about the coming together, because I was just referencing bonded versus binding, and then bonded versus fusing. Whereas fusing was more melding the fibers together very naturally, whereas bonding was more of a forced coming together, or something glued, right? Or heat, but pressurized to come together. So this one was saying entire molecules that are bonded together to each other in an organized manner. So very much the fusing is very much organized, about the fibers weaving together, just like putting hair extensions in your hair. It's more natural that way. Then the last heading came up was the site 2, which is another, program site to go on and have fun, but it's spelled TWOO, which is very significant for my codings, because a lot of times the number 2 will come up with a 0 next to it. And they're always like the googly eyes, the eyes that kind of roll back and forth, or the sleepy eyes. You are hypnotized. Okay, so that was coming up. So again, it was just a site called 2, and I just told you this was all about the number 2 here. Then I was getting inchworm, 2 and 2 are 4, right, coming up, and that was at 10:05. The Wheel of Fortune and the Hierophant, or the expansion and change, freedom. So the whole thing is 2 and 2 are 4, 4 and 4 are 8. But when I go back to the meditation that I keep telling you guys about yesterday, where the numbers 1, 2, 4, and 8 came up, the same thing was coming up here, that 1 plus 1 are 2, 2 plus 2 are 4, 4 plus 4 are 8. But then it went on to 8 and 8 are 16, 32, 64, and 128. So those numbers are significant right now, today anyway. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and 128. So we start out this read with the Queen of Swords reversed. And the underlying energies here. Here's the Queen of Swords reversed. Then we have the Three of Cups reversed. This is the Six of Swords, which was upright. The Star card, which was reversed. And then the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So we had two queens here in the underlying energy there that were reversed. The Queen of Swords reversed and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So we start out with the Queen of Swords reversed. Deeply wounded, you know, her upright, she's already wounded, but reversed, you know, she's in deep grief. Or she can be, you know, verbally abusive. But I was getting more the grieving. It's definitely there with the Five of Cups reversed below it. And her being a third party, finally getting some peace from depression and losing hope, getting over her grief as the third party. The Queen of Pentacles, ungrounded and possibly losing money. Gossip, negative groups, and antisocial behavior, and just being in a situation of no joy or around other people that way. The Page of Pentacles may be an opportunity, an invitation, a child or a student, a small loan perhaps, or maybe just a little bit of help to the Ten of Cups family at present, ending an emotional cycle. Whether that's the end of the family, or it could just be an end of an emotional cycle within the family. Then being insecure and manipulative. The Magician reversed. Disconnected in a breakup, not seeing eye to eye, in downturn or slowdown, or a bad turn with the Queen of Wands, strategizing a new plan, losing hope with unstable home or marriage, and the Page of Pentacles upright. Just maybe a little bit of help or opportunity, or a little opportunity, or a good student, or a new project coming towards the masculine. The Page of Cups reversed could be just rejection, or a shy child, someone who's vulnerable, or even a spoiled child, or someone who cries a lot, or in other words, a newborn. Or the Queen of Wands is looking back, insecure about confrontation and her childhood, implementing a plan to spend on depression, or to help bird who fell out of the nest, moving, ending a marriage, visiting a friend with 1 to 2 kids, or 2 friends or 2 sisters she may see as less than her, or she always did in the past, and maybe she's now seeing a new perspective to that. The Queen of Swords reversed and the Queen of Pentacles reversed, but the Queen of Wands here was coming up in the underlying energies upright. Or it could be her own 2 grown kids. A negative group, or even a coven or a gaggle, but it's just some kind of negative, you know, gossipy group. At 1024, again, we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Queen of Wands. Letting go to repair. The energy I was getting too, like if it's the Queen of Wands energy is coming up as someone who may have, not by her own fault, but just may have gotten all her way her whole life. She might have been very spoiled by her parents, and she just might have a great chart where she ends up getting what she wants most of the time. But what that doesn't prepare her for is the need to confront other people, or when something bad does happen, she's totally unprepared for it and doesn't know how to deal with the situation. Or in relationships, she's so used to getting her own way, well, then the relationship naturally becomes imbalanced because she's always used to getting what she wants and not doing for the other person, so it becomes that imbalanced relationship. So letting go to repair, mend, fix, or make amends with others, now dependent or loss of money, power, and independence, and disconnect from partner in need of money and or a new life. Or this is about 1 to 2 kids draining their finances to start a new life, or in need of a big loan for the masculine. And that can come up for the masculine and or this Queen of Wands, or the Queen of Swords reversed. But we were more on the topic of the Queen of Wands and then the masculine again. So the Queen of Swords reversed, grieving loss of a child, possibly, whether miscarriage or empty nest syndrome, or in a fight or breaking up with a child, complete severing of ties. Finances and career came up for the masculine as the underlying energy, and then retreat, or may have just taken a vacation prior to that and now getting back to focusing on work. Finances drained by partnership, expensive curtains now open to see dysfunctional ongoings inside the home. And someone worried now because there may be a downturn in the market or in their business where they now need to sell some things, and they are looking at these really expensive curtains that have no resale value. So they spent a whole lot of money, but they couldn't sell them and gain that back. The loss of the gold coin connection, or the higher self, and financial partner or marriage as well, the 3D aspect of that. The Page of Pentacles student may be hurting themselves to keep up appearances, right? The kid who's always the good one, who has really good grades and all that kind of stuff. I'm getting a child who's disguising their pain, who could be drinking or cutting themselves in a deep codependency connection with if they're a grown person, a partner, or their parent. Passions expressed, energy back and forth, awakened to mitos, finding peace, as or without the Emperor reversed, which could be his own status of being the boss, maybe an ego death, or having abused their power in the past, or dealing with a separate person who's like that. Could be a father or boss. Dealing with ankle and shoulder, elbow, and wrist issues on the left for the masculine, in need of nature and water therapies. Out on a limb or distant family relationships or relations, a pillar made of stone, so that could be someone who's, like an emperor who's immovable, getting a handle on the truth or sexual relations with members outside the house, the family, the religion, or group, or even cult, with hostage release. But the caterpillar or inchworm is very, very slow to transform, examining the subject very closely, every inch of them, but their hands tied to, or the hostage, her hands tied to his probing eyes, and could be also someone after surgery, could be dealing with a little bit of necrosis or nerve endings deadening or passing stones like I was feeling yesterday. Expensive erotic fruits may be left on the floor to go bad, and origamis in piles all over the place. Trophy wife with all the glory goes down with the ship when the Emperor reversed has lost his control. Hostage plastered to the glass ceiling trying to get through, while the inchworm or caterpillar takes its time or is also tied up trying to find peace with that Emperor reversed and abusive power, or going through ego death. But elbows and knees are a focus here, also hands coming together and souls together for a closed circuit healing, coming into hibernation for new growth in the spring. Parenting comes up, which is number 63, which is the 9 of Swords, that suffering card, which is coming up in the masculine's read. And below that was self-discipline of the 41, which has to do with loving yourself first. Right? You can't take care of the children, which can be very stressful, like the 9 of Swords, if you don't have the self-discipline to love others, but love yourself first. The Hierophant is coming up here, could be a Taurus or just someone without their intuition, or that their secret passion is out. With new information comes clarity, with standing up for himself in a bold move to move or travel or ascend to the Page of Pentacles, or to pick up a child who may be in trouble at school. And it could be the good one, right, who's now getting in trouble because their issues are coming up. Or the child, student, or opportunity returns from the past, or being like a kid again, moving in with old friend, or learning, studying about your negative past, or going back, doing shadow work and Akashic records. That's at 1052, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Queen of Swords. And why the Queen of Swords is so much in mourning or damaged, okay? So 1058, as we turn the page, 58 is the 4 of Swords, resting, praying, sleeping, meditating, connecting the 5D, or the secret is out about kids, or a kid's secret is out. Like they might have done something that they never told anyone about, and now the secret is out, or they got caught. Or Taurus and Cancer with an opportunity to return to each other and work things out. Pisces here too. Or a secret or clarity is out about a Taurus or religious leader or establishment. Cancer or Scorpio waiting for them to get going already, saying, come on, what the F? Taking forever to come out, which can be someone literally waiting for a ride, or just waiting for them to come out. The water signs in general, all three of them, standing up for themselves, but Taurus still trying to hide even though their secret's out. The Queen of Swords reversed with bad childhood or negative past, or her past returns about rejection or a lost child, or a child or sibling returns, or anyone visiting for Thanksgiving, or a mother without her kids for Thanksgiving, holding back money or a loan from the Emperor reversed. Dealing with finances and career and parenting has been a major focus for him. The Emperor reversed, dealing with 2 women, 2 employees, 2 sisters, or 2 children, all about one-on-one relationships today, and the holidays bringing up our wounds. The good kids, the quote-unquote good kids, and the same for the bad kids, the mom's and dad's favorite, right? So all the childhood wounds come up at Thanksgiving. Who was the good one? Who was the bad one? Who was mom's or dad's favorite? The peacock, the frog, and the Jezebel or misfit. The rebel, the teacher's pet, the impatient mother, and leaving without you if you weren't there or ready on time. The cat is out of the bag, 2 gold feathers in their cap, or trying the Romeo act, with Lady Peacock looking at him strangely because she's supposed to sport the beautiful feathers. Why is he trying to show her up? A different kind of bird with peacock eyes, but his or her mother didn't have time for this kind of thing. 2 who once played in the sandbox together no longer recognize each other. Young friends who go their separate ways in junior high school or high school. They go into separate cliques and then no longer like each other. 2 sphinxes are both the same because they're sphinxes, but one is gold and one is coming up platinum. Branding called to alchemize the past. Then Jasmine from Aladdin comes up in Arabian Nights, and that was 1992, but she was coming up in the chariot, like getting irritated and impatient, tired of palace confinement, determined not to marry the prince for money and status by her birthday, but rather someone that she loves, so that she is not owned, especially by the church or establishment. Taurus, Cancer, Pisces, and Aquarius, Libra, Virgo, Gemini, Aries, and Capricorn all came up here in the underlying energies. Recently is the 9 of Wands, the Wounded Warrior upright, as the King of Cups reversed, juggling, dancing, 2-stepping in order to distract others from seeing a negative past or what's actually really going on behind the scenes. Or a father, he's juggling the father and kids, keeping their distance or keeping them apart, right? The kids and the father. Or that could be the twin as well. Or the Wounded Warrior juggling the father, who could be a King of Cups reversed, emotionally detached, alcoholic, or over-emotional, and seen by the masculine as weak or soft. So it could be a father or his father-in-law. And kid, it could be a brother, as well, or a friend. And the kids on the other side being very difficult. Suffering, stressed, or chronic purging, Taurus, Hierophant, Cancer, Chariot, Libra, Injustice, Capricorn, and the Hangman awake, 4 power players, or just 2 people. One is a Taurus Cancer upright, the other one is a Libra Capricorn reversed, suffering apart or stressed out with establishment, leader, religion, running roughshod over him, experiencing injustice in his awakening. And this was at 11:32, which is justice and the journey, the 6 of Wands. Or this could be a bossy Taurus, or Taurus is moving or traveling without the Libra or Capricorn, or just 2 to 4 people not getting along, one traditional, one making bold moves, one feels it's unfair, and then the last is the idea man. The Wounded Warrior trying to please the King of Cups reversed, who could be a boss or a father or father-in-law, and employees on the other side, or family at the same time, unable to please everyone. And my light started flickering at that line, especially unable to please everyone, especially disgruntled kids or employees or co-workers acting like kids, or the Wounded Warriors giving too much, an effort to keep the King of Cups reversed, or giving too much effort to the King of Cups reversed, right? Because he could be the boss, or he's the scarier one because he's always reversed or drunk. So always giving him the high energy as opposed to the other ones who probably deserve it more, and not enough energy to the kids and the twin or others in the family who are suffering, with the Galactic Council I was getting hovering over them. The wounded warrior between the Queen of Swords reversed with kids and the Six of Cups reversed on the other side, which could be the past and or the twin. The foundation being the Two of Swords upright, the masculine being in their knowing and floating on air, free to leap to their calling, to end pain for good, with the Hermit shedding light on it. So coming into that dance with their twin. Aries, Aquarius, and Virgo came up there. The central energy is the solar deity of the sun, upright, grounding and integrating that offer of love in the awakening. It may be destabilizing, but the masculine is rising above. There's good energy, but all exposed, moving or ending marriage or a party, like a big celebration. Someone might have to end their Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. Or they can't sleep due to visitors at the house for Thanksgiving. Choosing a new path for the masculine, perhaps a meal with a special someone. The challenge being the Two of Crystals, the surrender, defenseless to Hermit with the light, letting go of the 5D to ground into 3D to 4D, time for the wizard to open the curtain to show his true self as the King of Swords. Patiently working, aligning, getting their ducks in a row, and then the Empress reverse may have offered or been offered a new passion or creative project by a Leo, or the wizard is coming out and being strong and courageous. The cowardly lion gets his red badge of courage. And that movie was about, or the book, whatever you want to do, but this description was based on the movie. So a young private in the Union Army, the soldier panicked upon his first Civil War battle and flees, and his name was Henry Fleming. So it's that wound of wanting to be a hero and get all the glory, but then right after enlisting, realizing what he had actually signed up for, after the fact. And that was from cliffnotes.com and from eon.wikipedia.org. And now he must face his fears, right? Choosing that new path, perhaps a date or a meal, to release hostage in a call to action, judgments and announcements of a new love, self-love, and the Knight of Cups, offering love to help with recovery from exile, or someone who'd been pushed out of a group, a family, religion, or let go or fired, knowing that all is well and is inspired to peace or quiet travel to receive an offering of third energy, passion, a creative project from their enemy or defensive one in their truth and standing strong. Now the Knight of Cups is crowning the masculine here, with the Knight of Pentacles offering help to the enemy, the Five of Swords guy, to release themselves from the mental prison they've built in the aftermath of juggling the rainbow and frustrated and uninspired with a negative past or their twin returning. Negative talk of the Queen of Pentacles reversed, or the silent treatment, or just knowing she is spying on him is actually making him happy. He's very pleased with himself. He is slow to help, and she tired of waiting to be happy alone and just be love. The Knight of Cups may have been caught with their pants down or carrying too much burden, weight, or responsibilities to free others as opposed to himself. The King of Pentacles, Dark Knight, is traversing across that 4D bridge to get to the Emperor reversed, who may refuse him alone and may be very judgmental or abusing his power with the Divine Masculine. Recovering from a frowned upon romance with new love, and rising above to ground the 5D into the 3 to 4D. The Page of Swords reversed, without a leg to stand on, could be lying and or spying on the Knight of Cups Hermit, sharing time, money, and energy with others to help them recover from players falling short on energy with good intentions or holding back passions or activities to choose a new path in or with their sunshine, but also with exposure, kids, Leo, recovering and defenseless to the energies or attacks, and sudden jealousy in their knowing, keeping to themselves and ready and free to leap with a loyal friend. However, the Dark Priestess is inspired by the Queen of Cups, but has no intuition or keys to do the same. She is not destined for peace, this Dark Priestess energy here. Who may be needy for attention or is sneaky and impish. And it's coming up like that Queen of Wands reverse, but it doesn't have to be. It could be someone else. It can be a child. And the Queen of Cups, and it could be a friend of the Queen of Wands as well. But she's coming up as sneaky and impish here, the Dark Priestess reversed. And the Queen of Cups is coming clean. So the difference between them, it's like the Dark Empress is obviously, or the Dark Priestess, not the Empress. She's obviously reversed and not intuitive. So it could be someone who's trying to be intuitive or telling people that they are, but they're not. And it's just saying that she's actually inspired by the Queen of Cups, who is intuitive, because, you know, but what she's doing comes naturally to her, and she's not doing it for any manipulative cause. You know, she's just doing it because it's what she loves to do. But the other has no intuition, or she doesn't have the keys to do the same thing that the Queen of Cups is doing, and she's not destined for peace. She's needy for attention or sneaky and impish, and the Queen of Cups is coming clean, right? Because she's very honest. So soon is the Nine of Swords, suffering in silence, purging, stressed out, pretending not to know about rejection, or spoiled Queen of Wands, or used to getting her own way, and or looking the other way. The battle is over, defenseless to energies or group coming in, keeping quiet about the Page of Cups reversed, the Queen of Wands, or her suffering in silence. Coming clean about deception and sneaking back into the workplace to cover up or reveal secrets or steal. So this could be a Queen of Wands who's literally coming clean about doing something wrong here. The new moon recovering from issues at work for the masculine and being laid off or fired or having done that to someone else. This still could be the Queen of Wands. Or her finding out about the third party at work or intellectual property, or what he's been creating or guarding at work. So this definitely seeing someone sneaking back into the workplace. So whether it's someone who was fired or laid off, or just sneaking back after hours to look at stuff when no one's around, or stealing stuff, whatever it is, that's all that energy is coming up. But issues at work with a secret out, coming clean about the Queen of Cups, freeing his heart. Defenseless to the Hermit's light and his need to surrender, he sees himself as the shadow reversed, implementing a plan to possibly buy new tools or secure some DNA, or to overcome his own insecurities and need to manipulate. Focusing on, instead of manipulating people, focusing on manipulation of energy, literally. Not walking away, but rather working through difficult emotions, the Knight of Cups is offering love to the Queen of Cups. So we have trust here, separation from romance angels, as well as romantic feelings and playfulness. To stay and work it out. The Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups facing each other here, right on the masculine's position there, detoxing their manipulative ways. Around him, or how he might be seen, is the King of Pentacles upright, inspired by synchronicities and the beauty in every moment. How carefully orchestrated, realizing he could never manipulate something this grand. The King of Swords working hard to heal and forgive, and the masculine needs to clear blocks of the Nine of Cups, that happiness with self, but also full exposure, the sun and kids and depression and the need for attention, or showing himself as that happy person but keeping depression under the radar. And that was all at 1231, which is the Hangman, and the Five of Wands, which can be that conflict of hanging out in limbo, right? So spirituality comes up as well as adventure, like I said in the beginning, but even more so for the masculine today is about rebirth and new beginnings. The disconnect at the new moon and the Hermit expressing their feelings in an energetic exchange, or fast-paced communications, or lots of errands, arrows of love with the wounded warrior in a split with lies and BS going on, things going slow, but traveling to a peaceful place away from someone demanding sex or demanding they take more projects onto their plate. The Hermit or Virgo a bit defensive at the new moon about their third energy after taking so long to find peace. No longer conflicted, competing, or the battle is over. Coming clean about sudden jealousies of the crazy dark priestess. Coming clean about sneakiness to find peace in epiphanies of the messenger of truth, or announcements, or away from harsh words and drama in her life. So this is literally that dark priestess, which could be the Queen of Wands as well. But it's, for somebody, it could be actually learning from the Queen of Cups or the Divine Feminine and actually seeing the own drama in her life, and she may have had sudden jealousy issues that the masculine had to deal with, but is now actually learning something here in the situation from the epiphanies of the messenger of truth or announcements, and moving away from harsh words and drama in her life, realizing that she's been inspired by creating drama and instability, but now slowing down the war within, holding back money, energy, and time, or in preparation of a new life. Maybe thinking about working in drama instead of creating it. The secret's out with the King of Wands reversed, so tired and worn down, yet at last completion. The sealed Divine Feminine or coming full circle to offer love, the big one. High Priestess reversed and King of Wands reversed are done. So that can be like the Viking princess. So the High Priestess can come up as different energies. But it's like the masculine and his karmic, him very tired, her very worn out, or it can be the masculine and the Divine Feminine, both very worn down. But this relationship is now done so that he can accept love from the Divine Feminine and the world. Detox, slow down, break up, and disconnect from dysfunction of family or family issues, or financial loss or control of finances. No affection or love loss of family in this detox, right? Letting go of the things that no longer serve, especially emotional attachments. Or there's chaos or breakup and a need to parent, especially oneself. Capricorn reversed, Libra reversed, Gemini reversed, maybe leaving family behind, right? Could be some dark energy the family's pushing out. And the Queen of Swords reversed, getting over grief, loss, guilt, and shame, as the Queen of Swords reversed, third party with child and family present. The Queen of Swords reversed in their knowing and keeping to self, detoxing of the King of Pentacles, wounded warrior, exposed and challenged by the surrender to suffering, purging, to become happy with self. So going through that dark night to come out on top, basically. The Knight of Cups offering love to the Hermit and or Virgo energy. The battle is over and slowing down the war within to prepare for the Diamond exposing itself to love. The Queen of Swords reversed, wounded warrior, or the Queen of Swords reversed and the wounded warrior, twins, with a negative past or negative childhoods, knowing and keeping to themselves, yet exposing all. The sunshine, the inner child, Leo, the Knight of Cups offering big love and the challenge of the surrender to the shadow and the detox in suffering through the dark night of the soul, purge, and 4D bridge. And Spirit's connecting with me. The King of Pentacles, or the Master of Crystals, finds happiness with himself. The Wizard pulls the curtain back so that the Hermit can see him, that the battle is over. It's a slow process to deal with the inner war and come out as the diamond in the rough. And I'm getting major connection as I'm saying this last part. And it ends here on 1252, which is the Hangman and the Queen of Swords. So it ends up with the Hangman, or the Jesus, or the template of the Divine Masculine, hanging out with the Queen of Swords, which was the template of the Divine Feminine, grieving for him. So now I'm going to pull some oracle cards for you guys, like I've been doing this week, because I'm getting some great messages. And that was another amazing message, so I hope you guys really appreciate these messages that are coming through for you guys. So today is November 27th, 2019. With that new inspiration, that third energy, the quanta. So, for everyone watching, the best and highest good of all is concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? And it's funny that Cinderella's been coming up. And I just noticed, and I didn't do this on purpose, but I ended up getting a candle holder, but it's a pumpkin candle holder, and it's very much like, I'll put it up so you can see. It's on my piano. I want you to see it. See the pumpkin coach? And I have a deer in the front of it. And I just put the two, you know, Santa Claus type guys up there. But there's also two glass elephants in the front as well. And I just realized that today. There was some significance of me noticing it today. That it's because when I looked up, what's her name? From the Disney movie that I mentioned in the read. It made me think. I was looking right at the coach. Oh, Jasmine. As I was looking her up, I'm looking right at the coach, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's Cinderella. All right, so for everyone watching, the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Let's clear all negative energies from across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities for the highest good of all those concerned, and filling with beautiful divine love and diamond light. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What is our message? Okay, and this popped right up. Archangel Retreats. Number 50, which is beautiful because that's 10 of Cups, complete emotional fulfillment, especially family emotional fulfillment. One of the most effective ways to accelerate your ascension is to visit Archangel Retreats during your sleep. It helps to know where the retreat is, but it's not essential. During the day, think and talk about the Archangel whom you wish to visit. Breathe in their energy to prepare you for your journey, and when you're ready, ask to be taken to their retreat. Your Archangel will unfold you and help you with whatever you most need. Your guidance is to receive for yourself and to ask for the light to help you to serve the world. So the affirmation is, I visit Archangel whomever in my sleep tonight. So it's about just visiting archangels. So that's your first message. Just 1 second because I have a bunch of cards I have to count. Let's see how many are coming up here. The bottom of the deck is Fire, which is 13, which is the Death or Transformation, Transition card. So you can read that if you'd like. So very much fire, which has to do with the drama. So that's the underlying energy, is the drama. We have two other cards that came out, not as much as the Archangel Retreats, but right behind it were 12 chakras and the Sphinx. Okay, so you can read them as well as if you'd like. And then the Sphinx. Okay. And the Sphinx is 20 and the 12 chakras is 1. So that's the Magician and the Judgment card. But the Judgment card, you realize, is also very magical because, right, it's the final judgment, but it's also that call to action of the Magician to come into their abilities. And the Sphinxes came up in the read today with the Chariot card, the gold and platinum Sphinxes, and the 12 chakras, and the Archangel Retreats. So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So there's 11 cards here, which is all about justice, which is just truth and balance. And the top card in this bunch is the Amethyst Skull. So again, we have the 12. When I read the 12 chakras, for some reason, I was getting the Amethyst Skull. That's why I hesitated there for a minute. And so it's very interesting that that came up as the top of this group, which is 21, or the world and completion. The affirmation is I explore all the information before I take a decision. So never to feel rushed into anything. To use your Akashic records, all right, because we have the Sphinx, which the Amethyst Skull is inside, I believe, one of the paws of the Sphinx, and the 12 chakras. So it's very much, using your chakra system to connect to your Akashic records and to Archangel Retreats for complete emotional fulfillment. Okay, but we definitely have, let's see. So we had the 11 in the bunch for justice. Then we had the 1 of the Archangel Retreats and the 2. So we have the Magician, the High Priestess, the Masculine, the Feminine, and then the Justice of Truth and Balance. And then the 11 plus the 3 is the 14, which is the Angels, having patience with yourself and others. All right, in the underlying energy of drama. So since no specific masters came up in those cards, very interesting, because they're talking about using your own chakra system to get your information. So I don't think they want me to call on anyone. I think they just want me to use my own energy to call in the messages. We'll see if anybody comes up with that. All right. That's right here. Okay, so the past life deck here. And interesting that fire came up as the underlying energy too, not only drama, but yesterday the fire and ice card came up. And we're in the fire now, right, of the holidays and Thanksgiving, going into the ice of winter. So again, for everyone watching, the best and highest good of all is concerned, this November 27, 2019. What is it we need to know? What is it that we need to learn? Take a deep breath. All right, so what is the message for us? What is the message? I think something flipped over. Yeah, this card flipped over right in the middle here. Yep. Is there more than one? Nope, just the one. All right, so the card that flipped over is biblical for us, and that's very much of Jesus and the carpenter. They're very funny, right? So they wanted me to not call on anyone, and then they have Jesus come up. Funny, guys. All right, then these two cards also want to come up. Is there any other? Yep, hold on, I have to count some cards. Yep, that's done there. The bottom of the deck is monk or nun. All right, so I talked about the closed circuit. So that's about, you know, you're in prayer to close the circuit. So you can put the bottom of your feet together as well to close your circuit, you know, to connect more fully. It's also because the private came up in the read today, right? The red badge of courage. But I was also getting Saving Private Ryan just now. I don't know why. But because this is right underneath the monk or nun. So praying that they can figure out how to put the tripod together. It's so funny. Okay. But also just praying for your, you know, praying for your soldiers who are at war. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8, the number 8 came up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. And the bottommost card is Greco-Roman, the Colosseum, but reversed. You know, it could be the Parthenon, all that kind of energy, anything like that. And this is what it looks like upright. You see how the sun just brightened up there. That the sun is breaking through, okay? Even with this, see how the light's shining on the card. Like yesterday, it's really meant to be emphasizing that the sun is breaking through and the clouds will be going away soon. That the Colosseum is no more. It is saying, thank goodness for you, Spirit's connecting with me, that you live in a time where we don't have a Colosseum, right? That's dysfunctional now. And that's interesting too, because below the monk or nun and the wars and battles, below that is the persecution and inquisition of the psychics, okay? And then imprisonment or slavery below that. So it's very much about war and prison and the persecution of people for expressing their authentic self. So besides the biblical, which is very much about Jesus, and you notice what he's doing, he is the carpenter putting in the fourth leg of the 4 wands. He's putting together the last, you know, to make that foundation really stable. He needs that 4th leg in there. He's working on it for you guys. This is his message to you. And then the other 2 that came up with that were Native American reversed and the ships upright. And again, these are 2 of those cards have that really pristine white in them, especially the ships. So the message I'm getting right now is that the space shuttle is landing. Your ship is coming in. Open up the blinds and let the sun in. Clean up your ship, basically. Your ship's coming in, so it's saying to prepare for your divine masculine. Your ship's coming in. Clean up your house for the divine masculine. I'm also getting a couple from the TP. I'm getting the alfalfa. So it could be alfalfa sprouts as well. But also I'm getting the broken hourglass, all right? Because the straw is like the other side of the hourglass that's no longer there, right? Because time is no longer there. And also those, the straw, or whatever it is, wheat, I was just getting now as well, are showing you the fabric, right? That this fabric actually looks like this close up. And these are the fingers that come together in the fusion, like I was talking about, as opposed to something glued or forced, you know, or bonded together like that, which was confirming that message as well. Also, of course, has to do with the Native Americans, but it's saying to let go of your differences. Like, don't separate yourself that way, right? Because Native American is another subdivision of being American, and then American, of course, is subdividing yourself from the world, right? From the other countries, and then our countries dividing us, or our continents dividing us from other worlds out there, right, in our solar system. I don't know if the space shuttle's supposed to land, but I'm also getting the tripod joke. See the strand, the hay or whatever it is. It looks like the tripod supporting. It's like magic, right? That this tripod could actually support that teepee. Right? How do they do it? It's magic. Learn from your Native Americans. That's what they're saying there. They have all sorts of old remedies and magical things that actually work, that defy reality, right? That defy gravity. Just like the ship floats on water, you know. When we first didn't know, how could you possibly make something that's not going to sink? Well, we can learn a lot from, you know, the Native Americans and Chinese medicine as well. All of those old, and it's not just those two cultures, but any of those old cultures that have remedies. There's been things that have worked for many, many thousands of years, right? But modern medicine has kind of done away with a lot of that, and it's now all coming back, including energy medicine. So it's important to bring up these alternative ways of healing. And again, we're showing, whereas the other day was the farm and then the dolphins in the water. This is the same. It's showing on land and at sea. You know, being at peace with one another. It's saying that, you know, you've been shown before. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it can't happen or isn't real. And now you're being called to have faith in your union. To open your eyes, the blinds. Open your eyes to see. Just like the Two of Swords card where she's got a blind on her eyes. Be in your knowing. You don't need to see with your own eyes to know. You already know. Be the foretellers of what will be. Use your imagination. Your ship is coming in. Allow the wind to come into your sails and propel you forward. Don't try so hard. Just allow it to push you along the waves. Sometimes they're big waves, and sometimes it's nice and smooth. And sometimes it's very dry on land, and sometimes it's very emotional on the waters. But there needs to be a balance of both always. So here again is paralleling the dance of the masculine to the feminine, and crosswise with the dance of the 3D to the 5D. It's saying the same with land and water. You know, you can't be all dry and all water, or one or the other. You know, it always has to be a combination of the both. It's about fusing these things together. That's the alchemization. Becoming one. That there is no separation. I was just getting Pocahontas again, too. And, of course, the Pirates of the Caribbean. And now I'm getting Gilligan's Island. That the Indians instead of take flight, take ship for a 3-hour tour, the Native Americans, who are no longer Americans because they're leaving. Very interesting. And not to forget that the sun always casts shadows. But you can always see what's there by just shedding more light. Fear only comes from lack of light, not being able to see. But you're in your knowing, you need to be the example for others to follow as far as having faith. Very much so, because you know how hard it is to keep your faith, you know, the pumping of the blood out to the extremities when you feel like you're totally detached and like, I was so in my knowing last week, why do I feel so stranded this week? It's the same thing. You're being shown over. This is why it takes so long to come into union, because you have to go back and forth so many times to prove to yourself the process so that you can learn true faith and patience. Okay. So what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we had 8 cards here, which again is the dance of the 1 and the 2, the masculine and the feminine again, the Jesus energy, and then Pocahontas was coming up for the feminine, but and the feminine, because the feminine is the one who keeps it clean. Very funny. So 1, the 2, and the 8, which is 11 again. So justice for all. All right. So now we're going to go to the journey of love. Okay. And we're just going into 102, masculine to the feminine. Perfect. Again, for everyone watching, the best and highest good of all this concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Take a deep breath. What is it that we need to know today? And since you came up, Jesus, this is a message we're asking you for. Okay. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? This November 27, 2019. Take our time and go with the flow. All right, so 3 cards came out. And then a lot. I got to count all these, but 3 cards came out initially. In the bottom of the deck is the Pearl Threaded, which came up, I think it was yesterday or the day before. 38 is the Queen of Cups. Very much the feminine energy. And then the 3 cards came out together like this. The top was the Cosmic Butterfly, but we also have 61, She Loves. 6, the Angel of Jupiter Awaken, and Cosmic Butterfly, 36. So we'll see. Maybe I'll read all 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 wanted to go its own way. You can go your own way. The communal dance wanted to go its own way. What was that? That was number 10, the Wheel of Fortune. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Perfect, the Fool, because there's like 3 22s right in the beginning of the read for the Fool. It's about taking that leap of faith, opening your heart and keeping it open, and being in faith. The card that's at the bottom of my group here is the Choice, which is 62, which is that prison that we make for ourselves, the 8 of Swords, right? When we have the choice, staying at the Y in the road, as opposed to just going with the flow and just go. Make a choice and go. Have fun. Have fun with it. So let's see, the 3 cards we have here. I'm going to look at them for a moment just to see if there's any messages I'm getting. The 2 of them are very similar in energy with the colors, okay? You see how this could meld together right here, where the greens come together. And the Cosmic Butterfly is very different. It has to do with the mother's milk, the transformation, the quanta, obviously, and it's very much about Venus flow. And again, the sun's coming out amidst the orange in the background. And making the connection, the transformation. That you are, it's just saying, like, with these beautiful colors, you're so much more than just your skin and bones. Okay? I'm getting Chokeres. And she loves, I'm getting the feminine, very confident in herself. So we'll start from the 6 with the Angel of Jupiter Awakening. And this one says, beloved, within you there's a magnificence, greatness, and the ability to live bolder, larger, and more exuberantly than you may have ever imagined. Awaken that keen spirit, hungry for adventure and new experience. The Angel of Jupiter, the spirit of bold expansion and divine generosity, lives within you. Your spirit cannot be made small, but must be free. Start now. Feel the endlessness of your own heart, which we were just talking about with the Fool and keeping an open heart. What can be done today to live bigger? A smile? A yes to that offer of adventure? Sharing vulnerability without fear? Taking a step forward into the unknown? Daring to imagine that the divine doesn't just happen to you, but happens through you, as you? Embrace the courage of your own open heart and dare to dream, beloved. The bold divine nature within you is calling you to great things. Now is your time to awaken. This oracle holds a message of guidance for you. You're being given an opportunity that can change your life. Don't hesitate to accept it. If you're acting with more assertiveness, more generosity, more playfulness, and more spiritual authority than usual, this is confirmation that this is coming from a genuine place within you. If you're experiencing some havoc in your life or a sense that things are changing, this oracle comes as affirmation. Yes, there is change, and yes, you're outgrowing what once was. So you'll be prepared to receive that which is more suited for your next stage of growth. The poem reads, awake in your arms, I wait to stop time. Savoring each moment for an eternity, like an angel, you light the room, your love giving life to the love I've held within. Unbridled and free, our dream unfolds, and we are forever changed. All right, that's really beautiful. All right, the next one is the Cosmic Butterfly 36. And that one brought up a lot of stuff that came up in the read. All right, the Cosmic Butterfly says you're being reborn from the pulsating womb of the Divine Mother. On fire with her creative power, you are being transformed whilst living. To surrender certainty in favor of openness. To accept the smallness of your everyday life while submitting to the magnificence of your being. To open up to the divine light that pours through you into a myriad of forms, endlessly creating, destroying, and creating again. This is your sacred task. Life is thriving within you. This may not feel stable as yet, but will certainly feel exciting as you enter into yet another cycle of rebirth. Let this life seem as though you are living many lifetimes in one. It is possible for you to encounter the totality of human experience in this lifetime, should you be open to it. This is treading the enlightened path, embracing all of life. You have chosen this for yourself and have been blessed with it as a possibility this lifetime. Why not let yourself be broken down and reborn through the workings of nature? Another life within this one beckons you on now. The message for you from this oracle is that if your life feels like it's falling apart, then take heart, for it's falling apart to come back together in a new way, and Spirit's connecting with me. You are going through a rebirth, just like the butterfly in a chrysalis. The agony and the delight, the sense of dying and being truly alive, can all be held in the serene space of your heart. Surrender into what you are becoming now, and know that what you are leaving behind is but a shell that once will have held your fast emerging new self. The breeze of the butterfly's wings caresses the stillness of my thoughts and awakens feelings that course through my veins like the whale's song to the ocean's depths. There wells in me a knowing and a wonder for what is yet to be. All right, and the last one is 61, she loves. And 61 is so we had 6, 36. 6 is the lovers. 36 is the 10 of wands, right? Not carrying the weight of the world upon your shoulders unless it feels light because you love doing it. And the 61 of the taking a risk, right? That's the 7 of Swords card. Taking a risk to love yourself first. So 61 reads, forgiveness is here for you now. Can you partake of it? Forgiveness for your own self, for the times you messed up, that you didn't love, that you forgot to trust, that you tried to take over and decided against surrender. Forgiveness is here for you now, for the times when you couldn't forgive another, even if you really tried and really wanted to. She loves. She is here for you now. Open your heart to the angel goddess of forgiveness and let her fill your heart. You are free. This oracle brings you a message from the divine. You are forgiven. You are worthy of forgiveness, and you are capable of great spiritual generosity in forgiving others. If there is a person you cannot forgive, then you're really just not forgiving yourself. Perhaps for being vulnerable, for not knowing better, or for not listening to your own intuition. It's time to let that go and allow the forgiveness that the divine has for you to fill your heart. You are free now. You just need to realize it. And it simply reads, the cherry blossom knows when to bloom each year and never questions whether its beauty is enough. There is peace in knowing you always bloom well, yet man spends a lifetime in wonder. Okay? And that's like my quote that I have underneath my video. That man has free will, but God has free bliss. And man has the free will to will themselves out of bliss. Okay. I think we're good for today, guys. Rise and be loved. Bye.